SWIFT says dollar usage in global payments in July rises to record. India set to ban sugar exports for first time in 7 years. Record heatwave persists in US as 130 million under alerts in 22 states. Putin says Russia faces big economic challenges. Russian military pilot reportedly defects to Ukraine with helicopter. Rumors swirl after Xi Jinping fails to give key BRICS speech. Goldman, KKR, and Blackstone join investor rush for Japan hotels. China bans all Japanese seafood.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Friday, August 25th, and here are your top stories. According to the latest transaction data compiled by global financial messaging service SWIFT, the dollar's role in international payments has never been stronger. The figures show greenback-related trades rose to a record 46% in July, compared with slightly more than one-third a decade ago. The dollar was the top currency as measured by a transaction count, followed by the euro, pound, yen, and yuan. In July, more than 3% of instructions sent via SWIFT involved the yuan. In 2010, it was roughly 0.03%.
The dollar's increasing tally of SWIFT transactions has largely come at the expense of the euro, which peaked at a 46% share in 2012. Last month, the European Common Currency's share of trades was its lowest on record, at slightly less than a quarter. While SWIFT's data doesn't encompass the whole currency market, it bolsters the idea that the greenback's role in international finance remains robust, even as some efforts emerge toward more diversification.
Citing 3 government sources, Reuters reported that India is expected to ban mills from exporting sugar in the next season beginning October, halting shipments for the first time in 7 years, as a lack of rain has cut cane yields. The media said India's absence from the world market would be likely to increase benchmark prices in New York and London that are already trading around multi-year highs, triggering fears of further inflation on global food markets.
A government source said, "Our primary focus is to fulfill local sugar requirements and produce ethanol from surplus sugarcane. For the upcoming season, we will not have enough sugar to allocate for export quotas." India allowed mills to export only 6.1 million tons of sugar during the current season to September 30th, after letting them sell a record 11.1 million tons last season. Local sugar prices jumped this week to their highest level in nearly 2 years.
A record-breaking heat wave continued to spread across the central U.S. on Wednesday, placing about 130 million people under heat alerts in 22 states and prompting warnings from weather experts of potentially deadly conditions. The U.S. National Weather Service warned temperatures above 37.7 degrees Celsius stretched south to states on the Gulf Coast with brutal humidity levels pushing the heat index as high as 48.8 degrees Celsius in some areas. The NWS said the extreme conditions were caused by a huge dome of high pressure.
The Guardian reported school officials in numerous states, including Colorado, Iowa, Missouri, and Oklahoma, closed classrooms or were sending students home early in response to the heatwave, which has seen record temperatures this week. Meanwhile, the deluge from now tropical depression Harold continued to cause problems in Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, where flooding prompted evacuations Tuesday night from homes, hotels, and a school near the south rim of the Grand Canyon.
Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Tuesday that inflationary risks were rising, and he told the government and central bank to keep the situation under control. Putin said in televised remarks to government officials, "The scale and complexity of the tasks we are solving and continue to solve are of a really exceptional nature." He said the overall situation was stable but required vigilant monitoring and timely decisions. Putin said volatility on financial markets had hampered companies' investment decisions.
Putin said, "The government and central bank need to actively use the instruments available to them." He added, "Work is needed, among other things, on limiting unproductive, speculative demand, controlling the outflow of capital, monitoring the behavior of the main participants of the financial market." Russia's widening budget deficit and stark labor shortage have contributed to rising inflationary pressure all year. Russian inflation is now above the central bank's 4% target.
A Russian military helicopter has landed in Ukraine, reportedly after the pilot was convinced to defect in a 6-month intelligence operation. Ukraine's Pravda newspaper reported, citing defense intelligence sources, the twin-engine Mi-8 AMTSH was on a flight between two air bases, transporting parts for Su-27 and Su-30 fighter jets. It said the pilot's family had already been moved to Ukraine as part of the defection operation, and he would join them.
A Russian military blogger said a helicopter had crossed the border with 3 people on board a couple of weeks ago, but claimed the aircraft had lost its way. The Russian blogger and Ukrainian reports said both crew members were killed. A spokesperson for Ukraine's military intelligence appeared to confirm that the aircraft had landed in Ukraine, but in line with government reticence about intelligence operations, did not give any details. He said, "There will be official information. We need to wait a little bit."
China's leader Xi Jinping unexpectedly skipped a scheduled speech at a key multilateral business forum in South Africa on Tuesday. According to the summit schedule, Xi was expected to attend the forum and deliver remarks alongside other leaders on Tuesday, but instead his speech was read out by his Commerce Minister Wang Wentao. Some China watchers speculated whether something was amiss or if Xi was temporarily ill, but an explanation is unlikely to be given.
The media reported Xi later attended the summit dinner, but no reason was given for missing the speech. It appeared to be a last-minute decision, as state media articles and social media posts from China's foreign ministry spokesperson were published as though he had delivered it himself. Bill Bishop, author of Cynicism, a popular newsletter about Chinese affairs, noted there had already been a long period this month without any public appearances by Xi, which seemed a bit strange.
A rapid tourism recovery in Japan, bolstered by the return of Chinese visitors and the highest level of inflation in 4 decades, are fueling a boom in hotel investment in the island nation. According to MSCI Real Assets foreign investors, including Goldman Sachs Group Inc., KKR & Co., Blackstone Inc., have spent a combined $2 billion on hotel deals in Japan so far in 2023, the most compared with any other sector in Asian commercial property. That's already more than the $1.4 billion seen for all of 2022.
Last month, a consortium formed by Goldman Sachs Asset Management, Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, and Singapore's SC Capital Partners purchased a portfolio of 27 properties for around $900 million. Canadian private equity firm Bentall Green Oak agreed to buy the Ritz-Carlton in Fukuoka this summer, and KKR and Hong Kong-based GA Capital announced a deal for the Tokyo Hyatt Regency in the spring. Blackstone said earlier this month that hotels were at the top of the list for acquisition priorities.
Japan started releasing treated radioactive water from the wrecked Fukushima nuclear power plant into the Pacific Ocean on Thursday, a polarizing move that prompted China to announce an immediate blanket ban on all aquatic products from Japan. China's Customs Bureau said in a statement the country is highly concerned about the risk of radioactive contamination brought by Japan's food and agricultural products. Tokyo has in turn criticized China for spreading scientifically unfounded claims.
Plant operator Tokyo Electric Power said the release began at 1:03 p.m. local time. Japan has requested that China immediately lift its import ban on aquatic products and seek a discussion on the impact of the water release based on science. Japan exported about $600 million worth of aquatic products to China in 2022, making it the biggest market for Japanese exports, with Hong Kong second. Sales to China and Hong Kong accounted for 42% of all Japanese aquatic exports in 2022.
Now let's delve into the news of China bans all Japanese seafood. Number 1, wreck. 破坏, 损坏, 毁坏. A serious injury nearly wrecked his career. Number 2, contamination. 污染. The packaging must provide an effective barrier to prevent contamination of the product. Number 3, unfounded. 莫须有的, 无端的, 没理由, 不依据事实的. Speculation about a divorce proved totally unfounded. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.